All right, so maybe I'll make a formal start here. So apologize if we're not making eye contact. We have like 3 cameras going. So welcome everybody. For those that don't know, so I guess maybe on John's, Mike Reinold here. I'm here with Kiefer Lammi. We're at Champion PT and Performance up in Boston here. We're here with my good friend Jon Goodman, who is the owner, creator of the PTDC for, if you lived under a rock, but the Personal Trainer Development Center. Probably, I don't know, probably like the go-to resource for online fitness-based education and stuff like that. John's been doing this for what, like almost a decade now?
2011 we started.
Oh my gosh, so 2011, not quite as long as me, just saying. But he's been on.
And I got more gray hairs than you too.
I dye my hair.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, we're John's here. He was up in Boston this week, so we said, hey, let's get together. And then we thought we'd do like a live session here. We'll try to record it for some people. Maybe we'll share it to my inner circle and some of John's peeps down the road too. But essentially what we're doing here is, I thought it was great. So Jon Goodman, probably like the world's best online resource for personal trainers and fitness related information. He also has the Online Trainer Academy. And what that is essentially is that's an online website, a certification process to start learning, the nuts and bolts about how to help train people online. So Kiefer and I, we went through the program because it's an amazing resource and we got so much out of it. We've launched our own online training platform at Champion, so we're kind of, we're quite familiar with the content. We've kind of, done this ourselves, and we wanted to get together and talk, and just say it. So Jon, you want to introduce yourself or say anything
I
nice?
think what's great about having you guys on and chatting with you guys a little bit is that you're physiotherapists and you're performance coaches. And a lot of people think that online training is just for, getting ripped or building muscle or losing fat or something like that. It's absolutely not. We've got a lot of physios, and I mean, to have somebody like you and to have a facility like this that's world class and developing championship teams and still saying, there's something to this online training stuff. It's pretty cool. So it'd be fun to get into that level.
Yeah, I mean, what we thought was like, look, I mean, we started this because we are, I always say I'm a clinician, right? Kiefer's just a coach, right? Like, he's not like, we're not like just like educators, PhDs or anything, you know what I mean? Like, we work with people. So Champion is like, it's our petri dish. It's us. We're never going to not work with people. Is that a double? What is that? You know what I mean? We're never going to not work with people. But then we also like, we have so many people, so many people that are like on our, that are essentially on our social media accounts, people that are, try to spread this out a little bit. People that are on our social media accounts and asking us all the time, like, hey, how do we take advantage of some of these things? Like, how do we take advantage of your programs? I don't live in Boston. I want to do your training. I want to optimize my shoulder, like you guys show on all your social media videos and stuff like that. So we said we got to build this online platform to scale from a business perspective, but more to scale on how many people we can touch and help. But anyway, all right. So we got a bunch of people online. If you guys have any questions, you can ask us some questions. We'll try to go through some of our messages on there, but we want to answer some questions, specifically about some fitness related stuff, some online training based stuff. What I thought we'd do, we make this educational, especially if we post it, is I think Kiefer and I wanted to kind of talk about really our 3 biggest keys that went into us developing our online platform, and some of the information that we got from Jon's program, just so I think we can really like articulate to you guys, if you're thinking about doing an online platform like us and trying to grow your business and do those sorts of things, what went behind it. So, Kiefer and I, we were brainstorming this morning, like what were our like 3 big keys, and I think we tried to establish some. So, Kiefer, you want to start it off and maybe talk about like overview before we get into them? What are the 3 big keys that you think goes into our online platform? Then maybe we'll talk about each one.
Sure. I think for us, it was the 3 big keys were, education, accountability, and then kind of the scalability of it. We were talking about this, and I think it kind of goes in that order. And the big thing we started with was saying, like, all right, we pride ourselves in the amount of value that we give people here. How can we help more people by going online, but without diluting the amount of value or the service that we're giving them? So we started off and we said, like, all right, what do people get when they're in person here with us? It's not just the training programs. It's the education that goes along with it. So the hardest part for us getting started, I think, was saying, like, how can we teach them all the things we need them to know? How can we give them a training program, but teach them about the movement patterns, teach them how to adjust training for themselves, teach them how to push themselves so that they can actually feel like we're there with them versus feeling like they're just, buying a program online and they have nothing to go with while they're at the gym.
And I think I think that's more important than some people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Right? I think a lot of times people they want to rush into like building something like this and rush into just throwing things together, and they make like this template. They make a template that they can put like an online program and just say like, hey, here's what everybody should do. So, John, from your perspective, like at Champion, we pride ourselves in the fact that we are experts, and not to proclaim expertise, but like, look, we've been doing this for a long time. We think we put a lot of science and research and evidence and experience into our stuff. How big is it, do you think it is that education is a big part of it? Because every time we do a social media post, our number one goal is to educate you, not just like, hey, show you how to do an exercise. I want you to fully understand it. So, like, in your experience, what do you think about like the concept of like actually educating the people in your program?
Educating people in your online program.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the people.
Yeah,
so because what we always said, like, look, it's not just about like, okay, here, do 5 sets of 5 deadlifts. Sure. It's understanding the why, the how, like all that sort of stuff. Like,
I think it comes down to what's the job of a fitness professional, what's the job of a physiotherapist. I mean, at the end of the day, your job is to help somebody achieve whatever transformation they want to achieve, whether it's feeling better, moving better, perform better, or just losing fat, gaining muscle. And that's going to come down to consistency. So consistency, you have to understand it. You've got to be able to take some accountability yourself. You're never going to have a coach there with you all the second.
Yeah. And to me, I think like when you join a group and you join somebody online, it's like Kiefer kind of started alluding to, like a little bit of the accountability and stuff too. It's about being together with a group of people, right? You wanna talk about that a little bit more, Kiefer? And I think that's kind of what John was kind of saying a little bit there too.
Yeah, I think it building off of the education portion of it, it's like you're so much less likely to stay with something if you don't feel like you have a group of people supporting you with it, or if you don't have another group of people that you see being successful at the same time, or people that expect you to share their successes with them. So, with online coaching, it's really hard to have that intimate feel that you have with a coach or that you have with the other members at your gym. But, even by things as small as starting a Facebook community and interacting with them there and knowing that they have a place to go, that they can ask questions and they can be supported, I think it's gone a huge way in us creating more of a community and a platform versus just selling a program.
Right.
I like to think of a coach's job really as being somebody's concierge service, giving them what they need when they need it. And I like to think that fitness businesses, the fitness needs to dictate the business and not vice versa. And I think a lot of the time the business needs to dictate, or unfortunately the business dictates the fitness.
Right.
I think that's the biggest problem.
Right.
In a conventional gym, in a conventional fitness environment, you've got 30-minute hour sessions. The trainers go. It's not necessarily best for the client. Like the best workout ever is never almost exactly 30 minutes or an hour long. That's absolutely ridiculous. And even over the course of a client's lifespan, it's never going to be exactly 30 minutes or an hour long, right? It's going to change. Client might need a hypertrophy or strength training workout. It's going to be an hour, 15 hour, 30 minutes. Then they go and they want some metabolic burst training because they're getting ready for an event, and they need to come in more often for 25 minutes or whatever, right? However your programming is. Whether you agree with that or not is irrelevant. Your sessions are not exactly 30 minutes or an hour. And so to be able to use online, and there's a misconception that online is just online, to be able to use online as a hybrid, online and in person, you're able to then develop the best type of delivery method for each individual client.
Right.
And I think that's the key.
Right.
So then we can flip the norm and say, well, okay, fitness can now dictate business. We have a business model whereby the client is going to win out, and they're given exactly what they need when they need it.
Right.
That's what we should be delivering, and that's the concierge service, and that's what every professional should be delivering.
So you see how this is all building, together now. So, in our mind, our three kind of like keys with how we built our programs were education, accountability, and then scalability. And you see how John started like immediately leading all this into the scalability of it here, where like, look, there are more than just cookie cutter programs out there. Online training needs to be more than cookie cutter programs. It needs to be an online training community of people that share like-minded goals and training philosophies and stuff like that, right? So your programs need to be scalable for each person, but your platform also needs to be scalable, I think, to be able to have resources for all of them, right? So like when we built our online platform with Champion, we kind of have like 3 tiers, and that really depends on the person. But there is like, like program templates, right? Where if you do fit into a very generic bucket, you can try one of those, but still be part of our online community and still get the education that you need through our educational videos. Still be able to scale that program and modify something or progress something if it's not right for you. But then as you go up kind of our tiers, you get more specific, like Kiefer and one of our therapists, Dan Pope, they're doing this online strength club, right? Where essentially they said like, hey, here's my workout this month. You want to do it with me, right? And you guys like kind of get together and go through a program, and I'll talk about it, and I'll say like, hey, how'd this feel this week? Or let's go over your video. Let's go over your technique on that sort of thing. And then for the real unique person, it's complete one-on-one individualized coaching, right? And there's a time and a place for all of that. And you have to be able to scale all those things, but you have to have your core principles aligned, and the concept of, again, educational component versus just exercising, and then accountability versus just exercising and actually being part of a community.
And to add to that, I think that we need to maybe put our egos to the side a little bit, and maybe clients don't need us as much as we think that they do sometimes.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You really, how many people out there need somebody one-on-one beside them 24/7? Every single time they touch a weight, they need to be
totally. I mean, the best thing in the fitness industry we've done, I think, is progress a little bit from like the semi-private training. I mean, the one-on-one to the semi-private.
Right.
And that matches quite a lot of people's goals. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it does. I mean, look, if you need to offer one-on-one service to somebody, the neat thing about online training is like the way that you build your support systems, you can actually scale your one-on-one support.
Right.
So you can actually be there with somebody. You can have group accountability support in like Facebook group or WhatsApp chat or something like that. We have a whole bunch of people who are supporting each other, doing check-ins and stuff.
Right.
And then you have what we recommend a lot of the time is office hours. So then you have office hours. So then you're on Skype once or twice a week from this time to that time.
Right.
And anybody can log into Skype at that time and have one-on-one chats with you for stuff that's maybe a little bit more personal or unique or whatever.
Right.
And you can give them one-on-one support, but now you can give one-on-one support to multiple people at once. And if you need to jump on the phone, you jump on the phone.
Right.
Versus having like blocked out 15 or 30 or hour-long phone calls with each client, which, if you know the Parkinson's principle, a job expands to the time that's given for the task.
That's exactly
you give somebody an hour to talk to you, they're going to take an hour to talk to you.
Right.
I can't think of a single case where any client needs to speak to any trainer for an hour on the phone.
Right.
Or even 30 minutes, to be honest.
Right.
Because if you give somebody 15 minutes, they'll talk for 15 minutes and they'll get right to the point.
Right.
If you give them 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I did last April of 2017, I did 137 phone calls.
That's funny.
With 137 different trainers.
I think I was one of them.
In like, I think it was something like 17 countries we did them in. And they were 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
Because I needed that extra minute. I did 6 an hour. And I needed that extra minute to get onto the next phone call. You can cover a lot in 9 minutes if the other person knows that all they've got is 9 minutes.
Right. What happens at 9, by the way? Did it just automatically hang up?
No, it didn't automatically hang up, but I had a timer on it. Like it was very
cool.
well communicated that it was 9 minutes. It's
Right,
like, be on time, we only have 9 minutes.
Right.
Which means if you show up 3 minutes late, we have 6 minutes.
Yeah, right.
So if you want the whole 9 minutes to talk about what we're going to talk about, make sure that you show up on time and make sure that you're ready with the types of questions. Here's the types of things we're going to discuss. And you set those precedents and you have those systems in place so that all of your time is best spent. I mean, you don't want to waste your client's time the same as they don't want to waste your time, the same as you don't want your own time.
That's exactly right, yeah.
And so you can do stuff like that while still offering that personalized support.
Right.
And giving people what they need when they need it.
Right.
For the most part, most support is really like we offer direction, support, and accountability. I mean, direction you give to people through a workout, through a program, through operational documentation, through FAQs, stuff like that. Accountability and support, most of it, like 90+% of it, is actually best offered in a supportive group.
Right. Oh,
not even one-on-one.
That's actually, so that way everybody grows from that, right?
Everybody grows from that. Everybody supports from that. Everybody congratulates everybody. You check in together, and everybody, whenever anybody checks in with their food or their fitness or whatever that they're doing that day, everybody else goes in and likes it.
Right. And you know what that does? That encourages you
beautiful.
to eat better that day, or encourages you to like, oh, I didn't feel like working out today, but now I feel like it, and you know what I mean? Like, so I think that's great. I mean, Shane just typed in a good question here too, and you kind of hit that quite a bit. He actually typed in some funny questions too, but so how do you?
Yeah, Shane, I think you're handsome too, dude.
how do you make people feel that they're part of a community when it's just online? Any tips for that? And I think actually John just gave several tips, but like any, I just think like we can answer that for another second. But what do you think, Kiefer? Anything in your mind? Like, how do you make someone feel part of an online community?
I think that's one of the biggest things we've been talking about a bunch lately, and it's one of the bigger struggles is people join these communities originally, and they think that like they have to be prompted by us to say something.
Right.
They don't realize that it's their own community. So I think it's finding a way that you're encouraging them to connect and support with each other versus just responding to what we say.
Right.
So I think that's a major distinction with the group is it's not just dictated by us. It needs to be dictated by them and their vibe and what they're doing that day for their workout. So it starts to snowball for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I one of the ways that I think we're working with that on our platform, with the Champion platform, is that we have some program where you can join anytime you want. You can join today, you can join tomorrow, you can join next week, and then we also have some training groups, and they all join at the same time. They all get the first week of like training drip to them at the same time. And now, look, you're doing it together as a group, as a community. You are going through something together, right? So, look, that doesn't fit everybody, right? So we wanted to make sure, again, it was scalable and, people could have accountability with just their programming. But for those that actually wanted to do that, I think that's another way to do it, too.
Yep. And I'll add in a few more just like super tactical bits of ways you can really create a great community online. Number one is understanding just group community dynamics. And I mean, study group community dynamics. Doesn't matter whether it's online or offline. What makes somebody want to be in a community? One is there needs to be a specific leader in the community, and everything drips down from that leader. So whatever actions the leader reinforces are actions that, because everybody wants to get once there's a set line of like leadership within a group. Everybody wants to be part of the cool kids club. Everybody wants to be close to the leader and make it seem like they're close to the leader. And so they do things that are reinforced by the leader. So when somebody does something that's like beneficial, like they put in a picture of their food or they congratulate somebody else, the leader then goes in and thanks them for doing that and reinforces that behavior.
Right.
And what happens over time is you set the precedent of that this is how things are done here.
Right.
Here, like one of the most powerful lines in a cult, in a community is, this is how things are done here.
Right.
If you can establish that, it's really, really powerful. Another one that's even more tactical than that, that's more sort of theoretical, is, ask for whatever actions you want. Like, hey, every single day, do these types of things. And then the third is have, like, community parties.
Right.
If it's somebody's birthday, have other people in the community, you reach out to them separately and say, hey, it's Janet's birthday. You might have seen her in the Facebook group. I'm doing a really quick video with other people in the community just to say how much we love her. Do you mind just shooting on your phone like a 3-minute happy birthday thing? And then you mash together a video of that.
This guy's a stud.
Right, and then you just, but like anything like that, right? You mash together a video of that. And you post it in the group, and you tag everybody and Janet that's in there.
Right.
And now everybody's celebrating together, and like you can even do live events. Like, where was it that I remember seeing this somewhere where I thought it was really, really cool. People just had like some friends over for dinner, and they invited their community to join them. And it was just like a live, like everybody was just like having dinner together. Why not?
That's like old school though, right? That's how we used to build communities, right? Before we all had the internet, we were all staring at our phones like you're doing right now. Sorry, but you know what I mean? Like which
is not great.
That's kind of how we did it. But so, hey, here's another good question.
You can also get people together that are close to each other.
Right.
Which may or may not be possible depending on where you are and who you are. But that's obvious.
I think that's actually an interesting way to do it. But here's another interesting one. So HT Performance LLC, they're not a corporation.
Okay.
They said, would it be beneficial then to require an initial post by the client? And you put require in quotes. I would say, look, my initial impression is not everybody wants to everybody wants to be required to do anything, but like I would say, like John said, you can set a precedent that
Yeah.
look, people do that. You don't necessarily be required. I think it's all how you phrase it.
Require it as much as you want. Not everybody's going to do it. So
Right, yeah, right. I guess it's just gonna do that. But I think if it's like if there are good examples of people that
Sure.
do that, right? So you got to find your leaders in your online group, and there's always going to be leaders as part of the tribe that try to rally the troops and do stuff like that. And I think I would certainly help. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is just where psychological nudges come in. If you've ever read that book by Richard Thaler, if you haven't, I recommend it. Nudge. It's like you can require people or tell people to do whatever you want to do.
Right.
It's not going to be anywhere as effective as just setting the pieces in place that make somebody want to do that thing.
Right.
And so if you can just make somebody want to respond in that group by having a group that has, hey, this is how things are done here. Here's a couple examples of really, really great intro posts,
Right.
like in your pin post or in your documentation you send to an initial client.
Right.
Then
That's a good idea.
Then they just have something like how can you make it as easy as possible for them? Right. Give them something to basically copy and paste and fill in the blank.
Right.
As opposed to making them write their own.
The more engaged they are, the more they're going to get results from your program. I think that's an important concept that we have to remember. They're going to get better results if they're more engaged. So
Right.
you have to take a step back and think, like, how can you engage people, and get people through that? And, again, I think it comes back to our 3 big keys quite a bit, right? Education, accountability, and scalability, right? Like if you can, offer some educational resources, like, oh, wow, hey, this new article just came out, or this new piece of information just came out, and you share it to the group, and you get some dialogue, then it's not just like a template they bought for $9. It's not P90X. Not that there's anything wrong with peanuts. 90X. I don't think Tony's watching. You think Tony's watching?
I mean, we got.
we got
19 people on.
We have tens of people watching this live.
He might be on that.
It's not just following this thing, but it's like, hey, I'm also growing as a person, right? We want to empower people to actually grow, through these things. I think that's important, So, so look, getting people involved. I think that's the way to do it. If you do it, I think it helps everything.
Yeah.
So
Tony is always watching.
So he probably is, right? He has people everywhere. So I don't know if they can dig through this stuff, but
just making sure nobody's saying anything bad about him.
Yeah.
He just got really upset when people started bashing his program, and he was just like, guys, muscle confusion is a thing. It is a thing. There's science behind it, okay? Anybody who says it's not a thing.
P90X is pretty dang good for a home workout. I don't want to get too excited about it, but yeah. So I mean,
there you have it.
Yeah, see, look at that. There's some good comments. I was reading the comments in there, but I think that's important. Again, the pillars that you have to develop your online training pillars, your core values, right? So for us, we have a gym, we have champion, we have core pillars as to how we want people to go through our community, right? We have a success path for our fitness clients that we share with our people online that says, like, hey, no matter where you are in this path, right? You may be new to fitness, you may be like moderate where you understand ways like to train, but maybe you're reaching some plateaus, or maybe you're trying to do some advanced level stuff. You have to understand where you fit in the success path and help people at each of those goals. So look, if you're going to build an online community and an online platform, I think you need to think that big and get away from the crap of like, here's like an 8-week program that has nothing, no education, no accountability, no scalability, just an 8-week piece of paper that somebody pays you $20 for. And I think, that's some of the bigger things we've learned in this process.
Yep.
Right? So awesome. Lucy, is anybody else asking any good questions? No, that's a good point. Yeah, we should ask them. Hey, hit that like button.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus.
Make sure that people on the internet see us.
Nice.
Hit the like button. There you go.
I like it. Ryan's got a good idea. He's starting as a personal trainer at Anytime Fitness, and he's excited to do Jon's stuff. And I that's a great way to start. I've learned a lot from Jon. That's why we were excited. He said he's in Boston. I said, hey, come educate me and educate like all my audience and stuff and the people that we talk to. So I think that's awesome. So all right, what do you guys think? Kind of wrap it up a little bit. What any other big keys we didn't hit? Like Jon, so you got this huge online like certification process.
Right.
Like did we miss anything that you think is pivotal, key?
I mean, there's a lot of things we didn't hit on.
There's a million, I guess.
I wrote a 360-page textbook on this. There's a few things we didn't talk about. Yeah, absolutely. what's pivotal? I think what's pivotal is just to understand that online is not the end all. It's not this magical thing. Right now, it's super hot. That's cool, rightfully so. But figure out whether it's right for you or not right for you. Don't think that just because you go online, you have to be only online. You can absolutely work with people in a hybrid method, online and offline.
Right.
It's right for some people. It's not right for other people. Like if you're the type of person who doesn't want to sit in front of a computer ever, you probably shouldn't be an online trainer. It's despite all of its benefits, like it's probably not right for you that way. So just really assess like what you want to get out of it, and if somebody wants to, I mean, most of the people here, I think, probably are following us in some capacity. Like, if you want to learn more about it, we've got tons of free materials. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, it's a fantastic way for a trainer to take that first step towards taking back control of their schedule.
Right.
Whether that means that they're going to be an online trainer for the rest of their life, probably not.
Right.
But it's a fantastic way to say, okay, I'm going to take back a little bit of control. I'm going to make a little bit more so that I can figure out what my next steps are going to be.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And if you're a physical therapist or a rehab professional or whatever in that world, this is the future too, man. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So he's talking about this is the future for the fitness world and stuff like that. This is the future for that.
We have lots
too.
of PTs who have taken our program, actually.
Yeah, and that's part of, that's all, we got a bunch of great programs that we're going to be putting out on our platform too to help people that are in shoulder pain and knee pain and stuff like that. Like, this is the future, right? So, it's about being able to help a wider net of people and being able to provide a good resource for them. I think that's awesome. So, great. Awesome.
I think my last piece before we all log off is kind of like going the opposite direction of what you were talking about, is to start small, right? Like we talk about all these things, everybody gets really excited to jump all in and be an online coach and try and do all of these different things. But for us, it started with the actual gym we have in-house here, right? And helping people in the community. And then we said, all right, we want to be able to help more people. So how can we best do this? What's our first entry point for that? So we started with one program, and we ran Champion Strong for a while. And there were a ton of things we liked, and then there were some things we realized, we weren't able to help as many people as we wanted, and we weren't able to give an intimate enough feel to some of the people that want that. So now we built it out more, and now we have options to hit people that have all of these different needs, whether they want one-on-one, oh, come on, whether they want one-on-one attention, whether they want that community vibe, or whether they want a training program with some education, but they really want to tackle it on their own. So now we're getting closer and closer to our ultimate goal of being able to help as many people as possible through this process, and I can't believe I've kept a straight face.
Just focus on that one. Yeah, I look, dude, I think you said it really well, man. There's a lot of people right now that are just building these online programs. Am I going to get cool glasses on your
cool
thing?
glasses there?
Yes, that's really cool. There's a lot of people just building programs that are slapping this together. Like we created programs first, and trust me, if we learn something new, we were just talking about this morning, Kiefer and I. If we learn something new about the best way to do something, we can't wait to upgrade our program and to make it even better the next time, right? So you got to always be growing with it here. And if you don't train people in real life, right, then it's really hard to say what's going to work, right? Because man, we learn every day from our clients what does and doesn't work. And I think that's like, the big important part. So there's tons of hearts going on, by the way.
So many hearts.
So,
They like the glasses.
so many hearts
They like
going
the glasses. You look like you're in San Diego or something.
Yeah, no doubt.
You
I
look
like
like
it.
you're
That's pretty
longboarding.
sick. Everyone on Facebook's like, what are they doing? We can't see any of those cool Instagram filters.
Yeah, right.
Awesome. But hey, thank you guys for taking the time to do this. Like, anytime Jon's in town, we want to make sure we get him because he's like such a good mind and, he's just very experienced with this sort of stuff. So it's awesome. So Jon, where can they check out your stuff?
Onlinetrainer.com. We'll say that one. I spent way too much for that domain, so please use it.
I would imagine, yeah, that's got to be a cheap one.
It was not a cheap one.
So,
it was not a cheap one.
Yeah, I mean, look, so we went through, it's the Online Trainer Academy that Jon offers. We went through that, before we started our online program. We really wanted to, find out what some of the best we're doing. So we went through that. If you're interested in our programs, look, obviously, I think we have awesome training programs for you, but heck, we have a ton of fitness and rehab professionals that are going through our platform because they want to see how we train people. They want to see how we put things together. They want to learn from us and see our programming. So by all means, that's fine. But by all means, you can check out our stuff too. So we're online training. www.championptandperformance.com. You can find that in all our links. You'll find it pretty easy. But thanks everybody. Thanks for a couple good questions that we got to during this, and well, hopefully we'll get this up live for more people to see in the future. Okay.
And for anybody watching online, I'm just gonna leave this on, messing with it a little bit.
and just go.
There we
Perfect.
go.
Ooh,
Oh
that's the
my.
scariest
Oh
one.
my.
We're for the Facebook crowd. We're playing with Instagram filters now.
Okay.
So you should, if you're not, you should follow us on Instagram too.
Low battery, I'm done. And you're at blackt-shirts.com.
I know, I saw that. We're all
we're
all wearing black t-shirts, and we got to get John a champion t-shirt.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks everyone. We'll see you guys next time. Next time we do this. See you. Take care.